Hello everybody, this is Lino Tadros again. And in this video we're going to do the continuation of the semantic kernel fundamentals, but this time I want to find out how can I work with one of the models coming in from HuggingFace, for instance. So this is not in the Azure AI Foundry, this is not in GitHub, this is something coming from HuggingFace, and there is over 2 million models available in there. So the sky is the limit on how you're going to actually use so many different models to test with, to find out what's the best thing, what's the best cost, most secure models that you can actually use. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do, let's open up the browser, and I want to go to huggingface.co. That's the name of the website. I'm already logged in as Lino in here, and I'd like to get to the point where I can see where are the models available. Notice at the top here it says models. I can click on that, and you will be shocked to see there is over 2 million models available. So for instance, when I want to work with DeepSeek, for instance, or Owen, or any of those, it's not only one. There are so many different companies that have their own implementation, their own fine-tuned model for DeepSeek, for instance, and they end up publishing on HuggingFace. So you can actually do that as well. Notice at the bottom here when it says inference providers, these are a lot of different companies that are providing these models. So maybe you want to check maybe Fireworks or Nuget or Nebius AI. One of these things might be important for you. In my case, let's say for instance I want to try something from Nebius AI, and I'm going to come in here and say show me the DeepSeek ones only that come in from there. And there is the DeepSeek R1 v3, and that is the same one we had in the Azure AI Foundry as well in the previous video. But I want to try this one out. All right, there is 521,000 downloads for this one already. Alrighty, and the ratings is over about 13,000 people liked it. So let's go ahead and do that. This one has 685 billion parameters being passed to it. Pretty hefty. I'm going to click on this guy, and you'll get to a lot of information about DeepSeek. You can read all the introduction, how it's behaving versus OpenAI, and O1 mini and O1 different version numbers. There's a lot of information in here in HuggingFace, which is great. The one I'm interested in is to be able to go see some examples. So there might be some samples. See, view code snippets. So if I click on that, that's what I'm interested in. This is the Nebius AI. If I'm using any other flavor of this DeepSeek AI R1 by other companies, click on that and you will see the code that has to do with this. These are the things that I'm interested in. What my endpoint will be, so I can cheat and actually copy and paste that. And I need to find out what the name of the model that I'm going to go against. And you notice it's always going to be DeepSeek AI / DeepSeek R1, of course for DeepSeek R1. But after that, there will be a call on the name of the company, whether it's Fireworks, Nuget, or Nebius AI, and so on. So these two things are important. I'm saying that to you now because a lot of people are complaining this is not working on the internet and in different forms. And I'll show you why this is not working, just to give you a hint really quickly. You have to remove the /v1. This was the old way. Right now, if you put a /v1, the base URL for the endpoint will not work. It has to be removed. So a lot of people are hitting that problem, unfortunately. But we will be able to fix that with no problem. All right, let's go ahead and take this guy, which is the endpoint, and start creating my HuggingFace project in Visual Studio Code. All right, we will do the same thing we did before, Control-Shift-P. And then we're going to create a brand new project. You probably got sick of doing that already, but we will do that only 15 more times. And we'll say console app, and this one will be 0. I believe this is number 5, right? Yes, 5, and we'll call it HuggingFace. All right? And we will create it in that subfolder, put it in a solution, and 05 HuggingFace will be in there. Excellent. So what are the different things that I need to put in here? Again, I will still have the 2 configuration, one from the Microsoft extensions like before. So let me cheat and get it from the previous one. So I'm going to have the items group. Let me just copy and paste this one first, and I'm going to have to change one of them. So I'm going to bring in the configuration, the configuration JSON, the semantic kernel for 164. And then when it comes to Azure AI Inference, I might not need this one because I'm going directly against HuggingFace, and I'm hoping that Semantic Kernel have created a connector just for HuggingFace. Did they do that? And the answer is yes, they did. So we'll replace that Nuget package right there, and we'll paste the line that says Microsoft Semantic Kernel connectors.HuggingFace, and the version is 164.0 preview. Again, by the time you're running this video, probably might be 65, 66, or whatever is going to be in the near future as well. But this is the latest one as of the recording of this video. All right, what else do we need to do? Remember the app settings? We still have to need that. We're going to click on the plus sign, and we're going to call it app settings.json. Excellent. And we're going to be pasting a key called HuggingFace that contains 3 keys: the API key, the endpoint, and the model ID. The first one I wanted to talk about is the endpoint, and that's the problematic one that a lot of people are complaining about as of the writing of this. Hopefully it will get fixed on their snippets code, because it is incorrect. So let me go ahead and bring it. There it is. I'm going to copy that base URL right there, and we will go back to Visual Studio Code, and instead of that we will do this. I'm going to save you some time. This will not work. You'll have to go to the V1, delete that, and delete the backslash. Very important as well. That is the correct endpoint for HuggingFace to be able to get to any of its routers. Okay. The next part is the model ID. Again, you can go back into the same code that I got this from, and you will notice the name of the model is DeepSeek-AI/DeepSeek-R1:Nebius, because I'm using this from the Nebius AI company itself. The only thing left is my API key, and let's go ahead and fix that as well. I am going to go close all that stuff down, and I'm going to go to HuggingFace, and we'll say access tokens. Let me create a brand new token, and it's okay for you to see it. I'm going to delete it right after this video. It's not a big deal. It's a fine-grained one. I definitely recommend for you to do that. And I'm going to call this one YouTube. And it does require 2 different checkboxes to be available. Otherwise, you will not be able to call it from the outside. They're on the right side under inference. You have to click on the make calls to inference providers. And the second one, make calls to your inference endpoints. These are the only 2 you need. You don't need anything else in here for this to work, to be able to call it from Semantic Kernel. All right, we'll leave everything as is. We'll say create the token. That is the token. We'll say copy that, and I'm going to say done. And thank you very much. And now we can go to the API key, and I'm going to be pasting what I got. And again, don't worry that you can see this. It will be deleted right after this video. Okay, we'll say Control S, and now my environment variable, which is the app settings in .NET, have everything I need for all of this. The only thing left for me is to go to the program CS, and go ahead and copy maybe the previous one. So I can actually copy from the previous example for GitHub. Nothing will change other than just how you're going to be able to access or to add the builder for the HuggingFace. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, I'm going to go copy the code. We'll say program C. We'll highlight all that stuff, and there is the new code. And again, it will resolve itself as soon as it knows that, oh, it's not resolving, notice, because I didn't save the project. That means it did not bring in the Nuget packages. So Control S there, and then give it a few seconds, and all these red lines will go away because the Nuget packages have been resolved. All right, we'll say Control S on this guy. It's all good. Nothing changes from before. The only thing you have to remember, I need to use the namespace for HuggingFace, right, from the Nuget package. And notice now when I add it, it's not an AI inference, and it's not OpenAI or Azure OpenAI. It's called add HuggingFace chat completion. And I'm going to be passing the HuggingFace model ID, the endpoint, and the API key like we did before in the previous videos for all the others. But the add HuggingFace chat complete, that means you have over 2 million models that you can play around with in Semantic Kernel if you want. The nice thing about this, folks, is that you do not have to change the majority of the code. The history, any caching that you have written code for, I mean, you name it. I mean, the streaming way, the history of adding the user's message, the assistant messages, the tokens, all that stuff in the reducers, all that stuff will work. Same exact code, nothing will change, but you're working with a completely different platform with a different model at the same time. One thing that I really need to bring your attention to, remember we used to have these prompt execution settings. We had one for AI inference, one for OpenAI that we used also for Azure OpenAI. But for HuggingFace, we have to have a different object in here, which is the HuggingFace prompt execution settings. And I'm also using the maximum tokens, 1000, and temperature is 0.7, and passing it as a float. But I wanted to find out how different is it from all the other ones, like the AI inference like we saw in previous videos, or the OpenAI one. So let's go ahead and click on this and click on Control and click on the mouse, and you will be able to open up the Hugging Face prompt execution settings. Again, I always like to go down until I see this part of the code, you see. So these are all the different. So it's more than the AI inference, that's good. Okay, so it does have temperature, top P, top K, maximum tokens, so it's all good. Alrighty. And then if I go down a little bit, unfortunately, it also doesn't have the chat system message. So the chat system message still has to be passed in the history like we did in the previous videos. But it does have use cache, is not available in the AI inference, it's available on the Hugging Face, so it's good. It has a lot of things that I definitely can use if I want to completely change the execution mechanism for my model using these settings. Make sense? So what do you think? Are we ready to run it? I don't think I need to make any other changes. Everything is identical from all the previous ones. So let's go ahead and do a Control S to make sure everything is saved. And we'll come in here, we'll say CD 05 Hugging Face, there you go. We'll clear the screen and we'll say .NET run. All right. The attributes will give us all the different attributes available on that model. Let's see what actually Hugging Face has for us. It only has one thing, which is the model ID, and it's the nebulous DeepSeek R1. We'll say, why is the sky blue? Same question. And because DeepSeek have reasoning, so it will be thinking first before it actually gives you the answer. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. The streaming is working. Everything Semantic Kernel have done for all the other models is still working with no modification whatsoever. And after that, hopefully we will get to the point where the thinking is done and now it's going to be replying with the final answer. Wait, did I miss something? Maybe a brief note on why the ocean isn't blue for the same reason. No, I don't care. So you can see that the DeepSeek, the way it has been trained by Nebulous, for instance, it might actually not be as fast or as good as other DeepSeek R1. So that's something important as well. You notice the thinking have finished. So that is between the opening of the thinking and the closing, and then it's going to give you its final answer in here right away. So it's a good thing to also monitor how all the stuff is working. I'm going to say push enter and we're out of the loop and we're all good to go. So it works, and hopefully you enjoyed this video to understand how to work with Hugging Face, how to get the access token, what is the correct way to get to, oops, where did it go? This one. How to, no, this one, upsetting. Remember, the endpoint does not have a /v1 like the documentation says. So this is very important as well. If you put the /v1, you're going to get an error right away when you run, not when you run, but when you enter why the sky is blue. Then it will come up with an error saying invalid 401. 401, it will not find the endpoint. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll create another one real fast. Thank you.